Hey everybody, this is Emily Sanchez, the divorce coach. How are you today? I am super happy to come to you today and talk about an issue that I think is super important, and it's for divorced people as well as married, single, children, no children. I think you can find a way to apply it because we all do. And the subject is on letting go of control. So it came to me to talk about this when I was actually trying to control my husband. The other day we were driving in the car and I started finding myself saying, hey, turn here, we can get there quicker. Park here. Oh, give it to Scarlett first, then she won't scream. Or whatever. And I just started noticing that I was giving these commands like at every turn. And it was annoying, even for me. I got the look from him, so I knew it was annoying. And then I got home and I rearranged the dishwasher after someone already put the dishes in. Are you guilty of this? Have you ever done that? That's messed up, is what it is. So why do we do it? There's so many reasons. One could be we're fearful that it's not going to get done in that timely manner, or it's not going to get done right. Or we might think that we're just trying to help, or maybe we feel out of control. And so that's why we want to control a little bit. Just one more story about being controlled on the other end. I know how annoying it is. I have a certain person that comes along every now and then and is the biggest micromanager I've ever seen in my life. One time we were having a little party with some friends, and I had an ice cream cake. I love ice cream cakes. And I got the knife out and I was like, hey everybody, ice cream cake. And I started to cut it. And while I was cutting it, this person came, grabbed my wrist, took the knife out of my hand, and replaced it for what they felt was a better knife to cut the cake with. So I'm just saying, it's not just me, it's other people. There are varying degrees, aren't there? But we all kind of do it, don't we? So for my divorced friends, I think it's hard to relinquish that control when we're kind of in a pattern of not necessarily controlling, but maybe if it's just on a mild level of thinking we know what's best, thinking we know what's best for our children. And then you get in that situation where your life does feel out of control and you have to share the time with your children. So that is frustrating as well. And then we find ourselves saying, my ex is driving me crazy. Well, it might be they are driving you crazy because they're not doing things your way. And that's a form of control. And how do we feel? We feel that crazy feeling, whether it's this person is driving us crazy or that person or this kid, we could really fill in the blank. So we get disappointed when people don't go along with our best ways of doing it. And as we try to control, I will tell you this, the people we are trying to control, will always fail you. They will always fail you. So you will always be left with a disappointed, low feeling about the situation of you trying to control it. So it's this cycle. The controller becomes the control-ee because we are the ones driving ourselves crazy, actually, because it is our thoughts of wanting to have that control in the situation and it coming back and they aren't going with it. So there's 5 ways that I've come up with that can really help with letting go of control. Number 1, awareness. Do you have a basic awareness of if you are doing it? I want you to get very cognitive with yourself and notice when you're around certain people, and then start noticing when. Start noticing your thoughts. Start noticing if you say, do this, do that. And it's a controlling type thing rather than just like this normal thing. Hey, this method is cool. I think communication really helps if it's just a mild little thing you're trying to tell. That's not control. What I'm talking about is if you find yourself really wanting to dominate situations and have it done your way is the only way. So you have to be aware that you're even thinking that. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, take control of your life. A lot of people control because they are completely out of control in their lives. And for my personal story, that person, they aren't in control of their lives emotionally, and with a lot of other things, financially. And I work with a lot of women who are not in control financially with their lives. Maybe their husbands provide everything, as far as the financials go. One way to control your life there, and I've even seen it with ex-husbands who are still giving alimony, still, the child support. Those are their biggest means of having security in their life. So of course they feel out of control. So what can you do? Go get a job. Go work on a skill that's profitable. Another thing is go back to school. Invest in yourself so you can have that secure feeling, so you have more options, and that you can feel in a place of control. The other way to take control of your life is if the reason you are wanting to be in control is fear, then you need to try to control that fear by letting go of it, going into the fear and allowing the husband to take over or the ex to do his things his way, whatever, that you just allow it. See what happens. So the third step is don't sweat the small stuff. I had an aunt who always said, don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small. And it might be all small. I want you to pay attention to that. I noticed for myself that I try to control my husband. Unconsciously, it happens when we are all together or on vacation, when we're all in the car. I just want things to run smoothly, okay? But those type of things do not matter. I've seen people at parks trying to control their 5-year-old on the park equipment. So they're running around shouting orders. Watch out, the bridge is, rickety. Don't go down that slide, it's hot, or this or that. We've all seen it. But see it in yourself and realize the things that you don't have to sweat. It's really no big deal. So let go of the things that are no big deal and concentrate on the things that are a big deal. You know what those are. So number 4, I call baby steps. If you've ever seen the movie What About Bob, you know what I'm talking about. It's a super funny movie about a psychiatrist and a client, a patient. And this patient is told by his psychiatrist to do baby steps everywhere. So he says baby steps to the telephone, when it rings, baby steps to the lobby, baby steps to the office. So basically what he's saying is you break it down and you go little by little. And isn't that what success is made of? Small decisions, the right decisions along the way. So my advice is take the moments when you know you're doing it and try to eliminate it. I also am guilty of trying to control when people are driving. I consider myself a good driver and I know directions around here. So I do it to my husband. So when I try to do the baby steps, I'll say, okay, absolutely no control. Let them do whatever in this particular instance. So when we're driving, and it's been really fun. I've done it a few times and my husband's missed exits and things like that. And he'll say, why didn't you tell me it was not that way or we're going the wrong way? And I said, I don't want to nag. It's cool. It's not a big deal. I'm not sweating the small stuff and I'm just doing one little section. Another thing you can do is if you have a really bad habit of control is you can try to just say, I'm not going to control anyone for an hour. I've actually done that with my kids. I felt like I was just overdoing the micromanager. I was overdoing everything. So I decided to give them a couple of days where I didn't give them even one directive. And it was actually really freeing. I saw what was small, what was big. And of course they need to eat food and things like that. But I didn't tell them. I just kind of brought them to the table. I let them sit. And so that was fun. So even if you decide, okay, I'm just going to do 1 hour where I don't control anyone or I don't try to dominate or I try to just let them be them and let them discover what happens, that's really fun too. Okay, and my fifth one is turn expectations into appreciation. Now, if you can do this for your life in general, boy, you have found some liberty. One instance I had is I had a client who was so perplexed that her ex dropped their child off an hour early. He was supposed to drop her off at 5, but he came at 4. And she could not wrap her head around it. And she actually made herself go a little bit crazy with that thinking of why would he do that? Instead, turn those expectations into appreciation. Say, I'm so grateful that she is here early, so I have an extra hour with her. Thank you so much. Find the small things, anything positive, and tell them, thank you for doing her hair. Thank you for doing the dishes. It's terrible how they're loaded, but we're grateful that they loaded the dishwasher. Anything in any situation that typically you really dominate control of, try to look at it and see it for what it is and see all the appreciation behind it. You will find freedom in that, I promise you. Now, before I close, I just wanted to give a little side note. The type of control that I'm talking about is this mild type of control. I'm not talking about there's some narcissistic, manipulating, borderline abusive, and even abusive control that people use. So if you're exhibiting habits of, I'll give you some examples, maybe trying to alienate your loved one or your partner from their loved ones or family and friends. Maybe you're using sex as a weapon. I don't give sex unless you do all these things right. Maybe you might give the silent treatment for days on end. Those type of things, I would hope. And if you're on the other side of it, if you're being controlled in that manner, I hope that you can seek greater help through a psychologist or a psychiatrist, because those are the issues I am not talking about today. I'm talking about mild control that all of us use when we kind of feel fearful or our security is gone and we feel out of it, or we're perfectionists and we're just trying to control too much. So I hope that this helped. I'm going to review the 5 steps really quickly. The number 1 step, awareness. That's usually all the first steps, right? You got to be aware. You got to know what you're doing and if you're doing it and when you're doing it so you can see your patterns. Number 2 is take control of your life in any way, maybe physically, maybe financially, maybe emotionally, in any form. Take control of your life, and that will help you to lose some of your control. 3, don't sweat the small stuff. It might all be small. Number 4, baby steps. Do little by little, maybe an hour here or an hour here, or when you know you exert control, use that instance to not in certain situations. And then number 5, turn expectations into appreciation. I promise you, as you can let go of control by doing those 5 things, you will find some really great freedom in your life. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I hope you subscribe to that little thing in the corner. Take care. Have a blessed day. Bye.